Imagine closing your eyes, falling asleep, and still learning English, without pressure, without effort, and without fear. Sounds like a dream, right? But it's real. And in this video, I'll show you the best English storybooks that can help you learn English while you sleep. These books don't just teach you new words, they build feelings, imagination, and memory while your mind rests. So stay with me till the end, because the last book on this list might completely change how you learn English forever. Chapter 1: The Secret Power of Sleep Learning. Have you ever wished you could learn English without stress, without sitting for hours and trying to remember new words? What if I told you that you can learn even while you sleep? It sounds unbelievable, but it is true. Your brain never really sleeps. It keeps listening. It keeps remembering. And if you give it the right sounds, the right stories, it starts learning quietly, in the background of your dreams. When I first tried learning English while sleeping, I didn't expect much. I played a short, simple English story beside my bed. The story was calm and slow. It felt like a soft voice guiding me into a dream. I didn't repeat anything. I didn't take notes. I just listened and fell asleep. But the next morning, something strange happened. I remembered a few words from that story. Not only that, I could pronounce them naturally, without thinking. That was the day I realized sleep learning is real. Your brain is like a garden. When you are awake, you plant seeds by listening, reading, and speaking. But when you sleep, your mind becomes quiet. The noise of the world stops, and that is when the seeds start to grow. The stories you listen to at night don't disappear. They go deep into your memory. They connect with your emotions and imagination. That is why sleep learning is powerful. It teaches you gently, without fear or pressure. Science also supports this idea. When you sleep, your brain organizes everything you learned in the day. It moves short memories into long-term storage. So if you listen to English before or during sleep, your mind keeps working with those sounds. It builds patterns, repeats words, and connects ideas. You might not notice it immediately, but little by little, your English starts to sound smoother. Think about how children learn their first language. They hear it all the time, even when they are half asleep in their parents' arms. Their brain keeps collecting the rhythm of speech, the tone of love, and the music of words. That's how they learn so fast, without studying grammar or memorizing vocabulary lists. You can do the same. You just need to listen to English stories with emotion and peace, especially before you go to bed. But here's the secret: not every audio works. Loud or stressful sounds can disturb your rest. The best stories for sleep learning are calm, slow, and full of feeling. Stories that paint pictures in your mind, stories that make you smile, dream, and imagine. Because when your heart is open, your mind listens more deeply. English then becomes more than words. It becomes a feeling. When I began listening to English stories before sleep, my dreams started to change. I saw pictures, I heard voices, sometimes I even dreamed in English for a few seconds. I didn't understand every word, but I felt them. That feeling was the beginning of fluency. You don't have to understand everything. You just need to connect with the sound and emotion of the language. So tonight, don't study hard. Just prepare a simple story. Make your room quiet. Turn off the lights. Lie down and play a storybook in English. Maybe something soft like The Little Prince or Winnie the Pooh. Close your eyes and let the words float around you. Don't try to translate. Don't try to control it. Just listen and relax. You are learning even when you think you're not. Many learners think they must stay awake to learn, but learning while sleeping is like charging your mind's battery. It fills you with calm confidence. Every night becomes a new lesson. Every dream becomes a small classroom. Over time, your ears get used to English sounds. Your tongue starts to copy them naturally. You wake up one day and realize that English feels easy, not because you studied harder, but because you learned smarter. The secret power of sleep learning is not just about the brain. It's about trust. You have to trust the process. You have to believe that your mind can grow even in silence. When you do, English becomes part of your life, part of your nights, part of your dreams. So tonight, when you go to bed, give your brain a gift. Play an English story. Let it speak softly to your heart. And when you wake up, smile, because you just learned English in your sleep. Chapter 2: Why Stories Work Better Than Lessons. Have you ever wondered why we remember stories from our childhood, but forget grammar rules so easily? It's because stories speak to your heart, not just your brain. When you listen to a story, something special happens inside you. You don't just hear words, you feel them. You imagine the people, the places, the colors, and the emotions. That is why stories are the most natural and powerful way to learn English, especially for beginners. When I first started learning English, I used to sit with grammar books. I underlined words, repeated rules, and tried to memorize lists. But after some time, I forgot most of it. Then one day, I listened to a small English story. It was about a boy who found a star. The story was short and simple, but I felt something. I remembered it for days. Without realizing it, I had learned new words. And not only that, I remembered how they were used in sentences. That was the day I understood stories teach you what lessons cannot. Lessons give you information. Stories give you imagination. A lesson tells you what to do. A story shows you how it feels. When you listen to stories, you don't need to think about grammar. You naturally start to understand how sentences flow. You hear real conversations. You feel emotions that connect words together. That's how real learning happens, not through pressure, but through feeling. Think about it. When a baby learns its first language, does anyone give it grammar books? Of course not. The baby listens to stories, songs, and voices full of love. The words enter its mind softly, again and again. That repetition builds understanding. You can learn English the same way. When you listen to stories every day, your brain starts to pick up rhythm, pronunciation, and structure without you forcing it. You don't need to memorize, you just need to feel. Stories also make your learning emotional, and emotion is memory's best friend. When something makes you laugh, cry, or imagine, your brain holds on to it. That's why people remember movie scenes, song lyrics, or bedtime stories even after many years. Your mind saves what touches your heart. So if you fill your sleep with English stories full of feeling, your memory becomes stronger naturally. Another reason stories are powerful is that they use context. In a story, words are not alone. They live in sentences, actions, and emotions. When you hear the word rain, you might also hear the sound of thunder, the feeling of cold, or the comfort of an umbrella. These pictures in your head help you understand and remember without translation. That is why listening to stories before sleep is like painting with English in your mind. Many learners feel afraid of making mistakes, but stories are safe places. In stories, you don't have to speak perfectly. You just have to listen and imagine. Slowly, you start thinking in English without realizing it. You begin to repeat small phrases from the story in your daily life. You say things like, "Once upon a time," or "He was happy," or "She looked at the sky," and every time you do that, your English becomes more natural. When you listen to stories, your body also relaxes. Your breathing slows down. your heart feels calm. You start enjoying the language instead of fearing it. This peaceful connection between your emotions and English is what helps you learn faster. Because when you love what you hear, you never forget it. So tonight, instead of a grammar lesson, try a story. Choose something gentle and meaningful. Maybe The Little Prince, The Happy Prince, or Aesop's Fables. Listen with your heart, not your head. Don't worry if you don't understand every word. Let the story flow through you. Your brain will understand more than you think. Stories don't just teach words, they teach life, emotions, and dreams. And when you connect English with your dreams, learning becomes beautiful. Every night becomes a journey. Every story becomes a teacher. That is why stories work better than lessons, because they make you feel English, not just study it. So remember, don't chase perfection, chase connection. Listen, imagine, and feel. That is how you turn English from a subject into a story, your story. Chapter 3. The Best Storybook for Peaceful Sleep. The Little Prince. There is a reason millions of people around the world love The Little Prince. It is not just a story, it is an experience. It speaks softly to your heart, even when you don't understand every word. It is simple, calm, and full of meaning. And that is what makes it one of the best English storybooks for sleep learning. When you listen to The Little Prince at night, it doesn't feel like studying, it feels like dreaming in English. The first time I listened to The Little Prince before bed, I was surprised. The language was easy. The sentences were short but powerful. The story felt slow and peaceful. I didn't try to translate, I just listened. The voice of the narrator felt like a friend talking to me. As I drifted into sleep, the words became soft music. I woke up the next morning with some sentences in my mind. Not because I studied them, but because my heart remembered them. That is the beauty of this story. It teaches you without effort. It teaches through feelings. You learn English words like planet, rose, fox, and friendship in a natural way. You start to feel how sentences flow, how emotions move through the language. And because the story is emotional, your brain remembers it easily. The Little Prince is not full of big, complicated words. It uses simple English that beginners can understand. Yet every line carries deep wisdom. Each night, when you listen to one small part of the story, you start to see pictures in your mind. You travel to different planets. You meet strange but kind characters. You learn lessons about love, life, and friendship, all in English. And because the story touches your emotions, you remember those words for a long time. This is what sleep learning is about. It's not about forcing your brain. It's about feeling, relaxing, and letting English flow naturally into your dreams. The rhythm of The Little Prince is also perfect for sleep. It is slow and melodic. The sentences move like waves, soft and steady. That helps your body relax while your brain listens. If you listen every night before bed, you'll notice something beautiful. English starts to feel like part of your inner world. The more you listen, the more your pronunciation improves, even without trying. Your brain keeps repeating those sounds during sleep, building natural patterns. You can make this your peaceful nightly ritual. Before bed, dim the lights. Sit quietly for a moment. Take a deep breath, then play The Little Prince in English. You can find the audiobook on YouTube, Spotify, or any reading app. Listen for 10 to 15 minutes. Don't worry about understanding everything. Just enjoy the story. Focus on the tone, the pauses, and the emotions. Slowly, your brain will start linking those feelings with English words. Many learners think learning must be serious, but with The Little Prince, it becomes soft, emotional, and beautiful. Every night you listen, you learn a little more. And what's even more magical is that the story feels different every time you hear it. Sometimes it feels like a story for children. Other times it feels like a deep lesson about life. That is why it never gets boring. You can listen again and again, and every time, you learn something new, in English and in life. If you ever feel tired of grammar or long lessons, take a break with The Little Prince. Let it heal your connection with English. Let it remind you that language is not only for communication, but also for feeling. When you fall asleep to this story, you don't just learn words, you learn peace, imagination, and love through English. So tonight, make your English learning calm and magical. Play The Little Prince. Let it speak to your heart while you rest. You might not notice it right away, but every word is planting a seed inside you. And one day, you'll wake up and realize that you not only understand English better, you feel it deeply. That's the real power of story learning. That's the magic of The Little Prince. Chapter 4: The Magic of Winnie the Pooh and Gentle English Words. If there is one story that feels like a warm hug, it is Winnie the Pooh. This book is not just for children. It is for every heart that needs kindness, calmness, and a gentle way to learn English. When you listen to Winnie the Pooh before sleep, you enter a world of peace. You hear soft voices, slow sentences, and beautiful words that help you relax and learn at the same time. It is like being a child again, curious, simple, and full of imagination. The first time I listened to Winnie the Pooh at night, I smiled. The story was so sweet, so simple, yet full of life. It wasn't about rules or lessons. It was about friendship, small adventures, and warm feelings. The characters spoke slowly, clearly, and kindly. They used everyday English words, words that you can use in your own life. As I closed my eyes, I could almost see the 100-acre wood. I could hear Pooh's soft voice, Piglet's shy laughter, and Eeyore's sleepy sigh. I was not just listening to English, I was living it. This story is perfect for beginners because it teaches natural English. It shows how people really talk in daily life. The conversations are simple but full of emotion. You can hear greetings, questions, and feelings in the most natural way. You don't have to study sentence structure, you just have to listen and feel. Your brain starts to catch the rhythm, the sounds, and the flow of real communication. That is how true fluency begins, with small, kind words that make sense in real life. Another reason Winnie the Pooh works so well for sleep learning is its slow pace. The story doesn't rush, it walks. It moves softly, step by step, just like a bedtime song. This helps your body relax and prepares your mind for gentle learning. You don't feel pressure, you don't feel confused, you simply enjoy. The more relaxed you are, the easier it is for your brain to remember what it hears. English starts to enter your memory like soft waves touching the shore. Each character in Winnie the Pooh also teaches something beautiful. Pooh shows patience and kindness. Piglet shows courage even when afraid. Tigger shows energy and joy. Eeyore teaches acceptance. And Christopher Robin shows care and friendship. When you listen to their voices, you not only learn words, you learn feelings. You learn how to express emotions in English in a simple and gentle way. You start saying things like, "It's a lovely day," or "I'm happy to see you," and these words become natural for you. Listening to Winnie the Pooh before bed also helps you dream in English. The soft rhythm of the story keeps your mind calm. You start to connect English with comfort, not stress. This is very important for learning. Many people fear English because they connect it with exams, mistakes, and pressure. But when you listen to Winnie the Pooh, English becomes something you love. It becomes a friend, not a subject. Try this tonight. Play an English audiobook of Winnie the Pooh before you sleep. Dim your lights. Let your body relax. Listen for 10 minutes. Don't try to study, just enjoy the story. Feel the warmth in the voices. Picture the forest, the honey, the laughter. Fall asleep with a smile, knowing that your mind is still learning quietly. When you wake up, you might remember a word or two, maybe honey, rain, or friend, but more than that, you will remember a feeling, the feeling of peace and happiness while learning. That feeling will bring you back to English again and again, because when learning feels good, it never stops. Winnie the Pooh is more than a bedtime story. It is a door to soft, natural English. It shows you that learning doesn't need to be serious to be strong. It teaches you to slow down, to feel, to enjoy. And that is the true secret of fluency. Not speed, not perfection, but connection. So tonight, listen to Pooh and his friends. Let their gentle voices guide you to sleep. And let English become a part of your dreams, one kind word at a time. Chapter 5. Modern Sleep Stories. Goodnight Stories for Rebel Girls and 365. Bedtime English Tale. Learning English should never feel old or boring. It should feel alive. Modern storybooks like Goodnight Stories for Rebel Girls and 365 Bedtime English Tales make English learning exciting again, even while you sleep. These stories bring energy, inspiration, and fresh ideas into your dreams. They don't just teach you English. They teach you confidence, courage, and imagination. And that is what makes them perfect for sleep learning. When I first listened to Goodnight Stories for Rebel Girls, I didn't expect it to touch my heart so deeply. Each story was about a real woman who changed the world in her own way. The stories were short, simple, and powerful. The language was easy, but the emotions were strong. As I lay in bed, I listened to voices of bravery, kindness, and wisdom. I heard stories about artists, scientists, writers, and dreamers. Each story was only a few minutes long, but it stayed in my heart all night. This kind of storytelling is perfect for English learners. You don't need to remember every word, you just need to feel the story. The short length makes it easier to listen before sleep. And because each story has a positive message, it fills your mind with light. You go to bed feeling inspired. You wake up feeling stronger. That emotion makes your memory more powerful. You remember English words because they are tied to hope and beauty. The other great book, 365 Bedtime English Tales, is like a treasure chest. It gives you a different story for every night of the year. Imagine learning English with one short story every evening. That's 365 nights of new ideas, new feelings, and new words. These stories are short, calming, and full of variety. Some are about friendship, some are about nature, some are funny, some are wise. Each one has something to teach your heart and your language. When you listen to stories like these before bed, you create a gentle rhythm in your life. Every night becomes a small step in your English journey. You don't rush, you don't compare, you just grow naturally. And that is how real progress happens. Because fluency is not built in one big day, it is built slowly, night after night, with patience and love. What makes these modern sleep stories special is their tone. The voices in these audiobooks are soft but strong. The narrators speak clearly and naturally. You start to understand pronunciation, sentence flow, and expression without thinking about it. Listening while your body is relaxed helps you absorb more. You're not forcing your brain. You're inviting English in, like a friend sitting beside you. The themes of these books also make you dream bigger. When you hear about real people doing amazing things, you start to believe in yourself. You realize that learning English can help you share your own story one day. It's not just about grammar or vocabulary. It's about finding your voice. When you listen to stories of courage before sleep, that courage quietly enters your heart. Try this simple routine tonight. Choose one story from Goodnight Stories for Rebel Girls or 365 Bedtime English Tales. Turn off your phone notifications. Lie down, close your eyes, and press play. Let the words move through you slowly. Don't try to understand everything. Just relax. Listen with your heart. Feel the rhythm, the voice, and the meaning. You might fall asleep in the middle of the story, and that's okay. Your mind is still listening. It is still learning. After a few weeks, you'll notice small changes. You'll start remembering sentences. You'll start understanding faster. You'll even begin to speak with more confidence. That's the power of modern English sleep stories. They teach you without pressure. They make you fall in love with the language again. So tonight, instead of silence, fill your dreams with voices of hope and courage. Let Goodnight Stories for Rebel Girls or 365 Bedtime English Tales whisper gentle English into your heart. Every word you hear while sleeping is a seed growing inside you. And soon, you'll see how beautifully your English blooms, quietly, softly, and powerfully. Chapter 6. How to Build Your Own Sleep English Routine. Now that you know the power of stories, it's time to make sleep learning part of your life. You don't need a big plan or a perfect system. You just need a small, calm routine that becomes your nightly habit. When you repeat it every night, your brain starts to expect English before sleep. It becomes part of who you are. You don't even think about learning anymore. You simply live it. Building a sleep English routine is simple, but it changes everything. The first step is to create a peaceful space. Your room should feel like a safe, quiet place. Dim the lights. Turn off distractions. Make sure your bed feels comfortable. Your body must be calm for your brain to learn better. When your body rests, your mind opens. It's ready to receive new words, sounds, and feelings. The second step is to choose your story. Pick something soft, beautiful, and easy. Don't choose something full of loud action or complex vocabulary. Choose stories that make you feel warm and peaceful. It can be The Little Prince, Winnie the Pooh, or any short English bedtime story you love. The story doesn't need to be long. 10 to 15 minutes is enough. Remember, your goal is not to study. Your goal is to let English enter your dreams. The third step is consistency. You don't need to do it for hours. You just need to do it every night. When you repeat this habit daily, your brain starts to recognize the rhythm of English. The more you listen, the easier it becomes to understand new words and pronunciation. Repetition is not boring. Repetition is power. It teaches your mind gently, without stress. Every night you listen, your brain becomes a little stronger. The fourth step is emotion. Don't listen like a student. Listen like a dreamer. Feel the words. Imagine the pictures. Connect with the emotions of the story. If the character feels happy, feel that joy. If they feel sad, let your heart listen too. Learning with emotion helps your memory stay awake even when your body sleeps. The stories you love will live in your mind longer than the words you force yourself to remember. The fifth step is reflection. When you wake up in the morning, think for a moment. Try to recall one line or one new word from the story you listened to. Don't pressure yourself. Just smile and repeat it softly. That small act of recalling helps your brain move information from short-term to long-term memory. If you keep doing this, your English will grow naturally, quietly, and beautifully. And the last step is patience. Sleep learning is not magic that works in one night. It's a peaceful process. Some nights you may feel nothing. Other nights you may remember words or even dream in English. But slowly, something amazing happens. You start to understand faster. You start to speak more confidently. You start to feel English instead of studying it. That's when you know it's working. Your sleep routine is your secret time with English. It's private, it's quiet, it's powerful. You don't need to show it to anyone. You just need to trust it. The quiet moments before sleep are the most honest part of your day. That is when your mind is soft, open, and ready to grow. So tonight, don't just go to sleep. Prepare your English night. Choose your story, lie down, and listen. Let the voice guide you into dreams. You are not only resting your body, you are training your mind. Each night is a small step forward, even if you don't see it yet. One day, you will wake up, speak a full sentence naturally, and realize that your effort worked. All those nights of peaceful listening made you fluent. You didn't force it. You felt it. You lived it. You dreamed it. That is the power of your own sleep English routine. It's quiet, gentle, and real. So tonight, close your eyes with purpose. Let English be the last voice you hear. And when you wake up, open your eyes to a new world, a world where English lives inside you. If this video helped you, make tonight your first English sleep night. Choose one story, listen before bed, and let your mind do the magic. Comment below which book you'll start with, because I'd love to know. Don't forget to like this video, subscribe to the channel, and share it with someone who needs peaceful English learning. Remember, your dreams can speak English too.